Yes, let's praise the name of Jesus today. But, I want to speak about tongues again today. And if we open our Bibles up to 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God for pulling down strongholds. For pulling down strongholds. And then if we turn to Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armour of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. And today I want to speak about speaking in tongues, tearing down strongholds through tongues. Now, quite a number of years ago, God led us to hire a room over a seance gathering, a spiritualist meeting, where they had their weekly meetings with mediums. And as they were having their seance and contacting familiar spirits through their medium, we prayed all through the meeting. And so we were above them and they were below in this meeting. And, the amazing thing was, and it wasn't pleasant at all, because I was there long before the meeting, and the moment they opened that gate and the moment they walked into that meeting place, you could sense the evil waves of power coming into that meeting. And so the Lord had called us to this, and it wasn't a particular thing I wanted to do because I found it very difficult. We were under attack because of it, but we persisted in this for a few years, what I'm going to speak about now. And because God's intention was to break the powers of darkness, what they're operating by, and to close the meeting down and remove them all. And so he called us to do it. You see, at the very beginning, when I was first born again, God called me into the deliverance ministry. It wasn't a ministry that I particularly wanted. I could have chosen something else, but that has been part of my ministry, and a very big part, to operate and exercise in demon powers out of people's lives and houses and situations, and all kinds of situations that I'm going to speak about today. But when God calls you to do something, you've got to do it whether you like it or not. And sometimes we say, Lord, I can't take it. But the Lord knows what we can take. And he won't allow us to suffer more than we can take. He'll always make a way of escape so we can bear it. And so we started praying with our understanding. We're above them. And we're on our faces on the floor and praying quite loud at times as well. And but we started off with praying with our understanding, and then we quickly moved into tongues. This went on for a few years. So it's not quick fix Christianity, this. This is persistent in prayer until the devil's power is broken. You could feel the waves of evil power coming off them as they entered the building. Now, I'm not kidding here. This is like really heavy spiritual warfare. They do carry demonic powers, these people, these mediums and so on. And those that follow them, and those that get involved in this kind of thing, do get the evil spirits come in. Where I can give you a testimony from one person in our group who got delivered because she was involved in this kind of stuff. So this is not a fable. This is a fact. They seemed to be having a revival as each meeting gathered momentum and the congregation increased. And you could see people coming in, big smile on their face, they're all happy. They were all happy. And I could feel the power of evil coming off them. And young people were coming in. I don't know how many people were coming in the end, but it was chock-a-block with people. It looked like they were in a revival, a spiritualist revival. And we were praying louder and louder and louder and facing that floor. And we were praying in tongues. And they could hear us. And they started laughing at us and mocking us. And it was the devil mocking us through them. They started to laugh. But we weren't put off by that. We persisted for a few years and nothing seemed to shift them. But they were having their times below, and they thought they were having a good time. The pleasures of sin for a season. But God spoke to us in one of our meetings. He said, I'm going to bulldoze the building and remove the lot of them. And so we kept that word in our hearts. And then God gave us other words like he's going to sweep them out with his big brush, and stuff like that. But before he did, he broke their satanic power through our prayers of tongues. And we persisted and we broke the powers of darkness until they were powerless. First of all, he broke the power of the devil in their meetings through our speaking in tongues first. Because this is what we wrestle with flesh. We're not wrestling with flesh and blood. We're wrestling with the principalities that are using flesh and blood. So we dealt with the devil through tongues. He then removed them And they admitted in the newspaper, and I've got the newspaper cutting, Spiritualist Church closes down, that they were not starting another meeting anywhere because they couldn't. And I wish I could show you the article, I haven't got time for that today. And they couldn't, they were powerless. We broke the power, they couldn't do it anywhere else. And just as the peak, mocking us, God dealt with them. Then after that, literal bulldozers came in, bulldozed the building down, levelled it down, they put new foundation and built some bungalows on it. That's the power of God when we obey him and we speak in tongues. But you've got to fight the good fight of faith. It doesn't happen. We're in quick fix Christianity. It's not for the real Christian. The real Christian is a person who will persist in prayer and stick with God in faith until God does what he says he's going to do. Thank you for listening today. And don't forget, keep exercising this wonderful gift of speaking in tongues, building up your most holy faith.